Yeah, I'll give you a quick update on today's breakout, and perhaps Steve can jump in from the real estate perspective. But today breakout was centered on the interplay between the future of work and the future of real estate as a prelude to the deep dive that we're putting together. We centered mostly around the evolving trends for urban office space in relation to the immediate impact from COVID. And some of the things we talked about were general nature, but we did bring up specific points around the idea that people as a whole have a certain level of awareness around their health safety, which expectations they're going to have going back into the office, which is supporting the idea of keeping office space real estate footprint as it is, but much more less use. So we don't think that we're going to have 100% capacity. We don't think we're ever going to go back to that pre-normal situation. We think we're going to have probably 50% usage of people in the office, and the other 50% of the time they're going to be in distributed places or micro offices outside of urban centers, and therefore does the real estate portfolio shift and change in that way. We also discussed the human desire for people to work flexibly to find a certain amount of higher level of productivity to solve for disengagement in work, but can companies and management and leadership evolve to a level of trust, true real trust, to accommodate such a situation and involvement of the relationship? And then does that impact and solidify the distributed work nature of work, and then also the spreading of office real estate beyond the urban center? Steve, you want to jump in? That was our perspective of future of work, but Steve, what did you hear from your side on future of real estate?
Yeah, so as Denise mentioned, this was a prelude to a future of work / future real estate deep dive that we'll be doing in the near future. And coming at it from the real estate perspective, I think one of the interesting things in the future of work discussion was the fact that obviously the future of work is going to be different depending upon industry, depending upon company and geography. And so from a real estate perspective, it's important to be able to identify those variations and what the impact might be in different industries and different markets. I think one of the key takeaways was that the future of real estate, the spectrum of uncertainty is much broader than it ever has been in the past. And so it makes it more challenging in terms of real estate investing, because there's so many different possible outcomes here. And what happens in the future of work and remote work or flexible work has an impact across all the different asset classes. And COVID has impacted real estate in very different ways depending upon what property type you're talking about. Retail and hotels have been hurt the most, but have very different prognosis going forward. Retail is clearly the worst off in the future. Hotels should rebound, but business travel being affected by the future of work is certainly a factor that has to be considered. Office properties have the broadest range of possible outcomes depending upon what the future flexible workplace looks like. And residential is I guess the safest, but the question is what are the best plays in residential? And I think, again, going back to the future of work, it's an accelerant and will accelerate pre-existing trends in terms of people migrating from the largest urban markets to secondary and tertiary markets, smaller cities. Now that they have more flexibility in the workplace, they have the opportunity to live in different places now, places that have lower cost of living, higher quality of life. And so that was a pre-existing trend, but with COVID and the future of work changing, it will accelerate those trends. I think the biggest question mark for residential and in general for real estate also is that you see people leaving the cities currently because of the shutdown and the virus, but that's a reversal of very long-standing trends where people have been migrating to the cities. And so will that reversal trend continue, or will it go back to people wanting to be in these vibrant, mixed-use, live, work, play environments? I think that's one of the key question marks. But certainly, future work and the virus is accelerating a lot of the trends that we've already seen in real estate.
So if it's any judge, I've seen 10 people move from New York to buy houses. So that's hard to reverse. But I have seen younger people find New York more affordable now. The occupancies are up. The vacancies are up, so the prices have fallen for rentals. But yeah, I think it's all over the map to be played out. That'll be a great deep dive. I just would emphasize data. If you guys could give us data that would be useful.
Mhm.
Next up, asset allocation.
Hey, Mark. First, we wanted to throw out an attaboy to you. When talking about teamwork, we think what you're doing actually is fantastic. It's a great way to stay connected, relevant, and the group just wanted to relay that to you. But that said, we thought
I'm
if you
trying to keep you relevant, Sean.
well, what we would really like you to do is maybe develop an app so that we can stay connected on that front. But
Yes.
it's serious, going
I'd
back to
really like you to post this on that app, but go ahead.
the discussion we had around asset allocation, just touch on